What is up, everybody? As I told you, I was going to be doing a review on another shoe coming up soon, and today is that day. We're going to be discussing this shoe, the Adidas SolarGlide 5. Now, before we get into it, guys, first off, I want to ask you guys, how's your training going? How's the weather by you guys? Are you enjoying the lovely fall weather? Hopefully you're getting into the spirit of what will soon be the holiday season coming up quicker than we all think. So I hope you guys are doing well out there. I hope you guys are getting in some training miles. I hope you guys are staying not only physically fit, but also mentally fit as well, because I think that's also important too. We kind of forget about what goes on up here and how we need to be just as strong up here as we are everywhere else. So, we're gonna get right into it here. Here we are, the Adidas SolarGlide 5. This came out earlier this year. I did get my hands on this one. This one was a special colorway. I don't mind the whole pink, black, blue thing going on right here. I actually kind of like it. I think it looks really cool. But this is a special colorway for Adi Club or Adi whatever members. And so I picked it up really inexpensive. I'm gonna tell you, this may be the bargain shoe of the year that I picked up. So I did pay for this one out of my own money. And I couldn't really pass it up because I was really looking for a long run shoe. And so I'm always open to try shoes that maybe, or shoe brands maybe that haven't worked out too well for me in the past. So Adidas to me is like hit or miss company. I've had shoes that worked, and then I've had shoes that maybe not so much. The Boston 10's the love-hate relationship with that shoe. The SL20, great fast-paced interval day shoe, but really that's kind of the limitations of it. I really wouldn't use it for just about anything else. And then I did have the Supernova Plus, which just after a while, I wanted to be excited about it. I wanted it to work well. But then when you started running in other shoes, you realize that those shoes were just absolute bricks underneath your feet. There was just no comfort whatsoever. But this may have changed my mind about Adidas and the Boost midsole foam. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bigger runner, as you can see. I'm not exactly a thin guy, right? You know, I'm a bigger runner. So, and as a bigger runner, you're always looking for shoes that are not only comfortable, but can be resilient enough for bigger runners. And I think this might be one of my favorite shoes to run in right now. We'll get into that here in just a second. So, all right, so stats and features. This is kind of a cool one. The upper on this is made 100% out of recycled materials. So 50% of it is made from Parley Ocean plastics. So it's where they take plastics that have been, tossed in the ocean. They, take it all up and then break it down into fibers and whatnot, and they can turn it into yarns and whatnot. And then the other 50% is recycled, like nylons and fabric materials and whatnot that I'm sure either they probably had laying around the shop or whatever. But it is a knit upper, and it doesn't feel like something that would be like plasticky or recycled or whatever. It feels like solid knit upper. I mean, it really does. It's not like super stretchy. It's not like Flyknit on the Epic React shoe, but it's a decent, let me throw that out there, it's a decent kind of upper knit material. So there's some good things that I do like about it. The breathability in the toe box area is fantastic. For a knit material, it has some really good breathability. I've been able, even on hot days, I've been able to take this out and I can feel the air actually moving through that toe box area, which was one of the things that surprised me. I was expecting this to be hot, and it really wasn't. It would surprise me. The laces, they're thin laces, but they do the trick. You do have this really odd kind of tab lace loop that's on the inside of the shoe. I've heard other people talk about how they felt that tab on the top of their foot and that it cuts into their foot. I never had that issue so far. I've got about almost 25 miles in this shoe right now. So initial impression, I'll get more at 50 miles, but that's coming up pretty quickly in this shoe. So the lace loop system, just you know, it's got like this kind of, you know, plastic whatever overlay of it, nothing fancy. It's nothing, you know, extreme to write home about. The tongue itself, you got this padded area way up at the top, but underneath it's just more of that knit thin material from here down. So it's actually still pretty breathable over the top of your foot. The other thing is it is not a gusseted tongue. I wish it kind of was, because when you're putting this on, sometimes the sides will want to like kind of fold underneath, and you kind of have to go through and straighten them up before you can tie it down. It just takes an extra couple of seconds to do, but it's just one of those things that you notice and you kind of go, man, you know, I don't have that problem with this shoe that has a gusseted tongue. So that's really my only gripe about the tongue on this shoe, is that it's just not gusseted. But, you know, at the same time, it's comfortable. It lays on top of the foot well. The lacing system works really well. It has a really good lockdown. I don't have any complaints about the tongue, and the padding right on top is great. You do have quite a bit of padding around the heel collar here, heel here, and you do have a little bit of like a heel flare kind of going on here, almost Hoka-esque, and you can feel that kind of wrap itself around your Achilles right here, and it is so super comfortable. That is one of the first things, is the initial step in of the upper, to me, is just so super comfortable on this shoe. It is really just super comfortable. That's probably the best thing that I can say. So here's the odd thing. You do have a pretty stout heel counter here. It's got a lot of structure here, but this is a very odd part. This section, this fabric section right here, the two sides of this heel cup do not meet here in the center. It is actually, you can push your fingers straight through. It is open here in the center, and you would think that would affect the lockdown in the heel, and it doesn't. I'm actually surprised it doesn't. I have not had any heel slippage. I haven't even had to race loop or runner's loop these shoes. It's actually just super comfortable. And what Adidas has said is they've tried to make it so that the lockdown of the shoe is not affected by this, but it allows your Achilles tendon to have a little bit extra space to open up or to expand in the heel of the shoe. And I think they did a really good job, because it's really super comfortable and it's got a really good lockdown. I've never had any plantar fasciitis pain or Achilles pain before or after a run after using these shoes. They've just been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that's the upper, very solid upper, very comfortable upper. I'd almost put it on the plush side, but it's got that breathability, which is just really nice. So it's one of those uppers that just shocked me when I first put my foot in. Moving on to the midsole, we've got a lot of different things going on here. So we've got a layer of EVA right here. You've got what do they call it? The Adidas LEP 2.0 plate, which is where you see these blue kind of tabs in the midsole foam here. We'll get into what that is here in just a second. And then of course you got Boost underneath. You got this, they call it double bubble design because it's got like two kind of bubbles right here. So you got a pretty thick layer of Boost here in the heel, and you got a decent layer of Boost here in the forefoot as well, right underneath the ball of your feet. It does have a slight rocker design. You do slightly feel it. It's not too aggressive, but you do slightly feel it when you're on the run. And then we'll talk about the outsole here right now. And you've got Continental rubber in strategic areas on the outsole here. And I think they did a really good job. It's got a ton of traction on it, very durable. As you can see, some of my roads have already kind of chewed up the rubber a little bit, but I'll be honest with you, the rubber doesn't look like it's really changed. So I think it's like the initial layer of rubber kind of came off, and now it's just kind of staying, because I mean, it's got a little bit of fraying here in these rubber areas, but it really hasn't changed in a matter of like, it seems like 10 miles. I haven't seen any change. So, but ton of grip, just about any condition, whether I've been running on some graveled areas or wet weather. I have taken these out in the wet, and it's had just a ton of grip, which is fantastic. So yeah, this midsole foam, you've got, I believe it's 26 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot. You got 36 in the heel for a 10 millimeter drop. So it does have a little bit higher pitch to it. Really not too bad. You got a lot of boost foam. It's a very wide platform, not only in the heel, but also in the forefoot as well. So it's very, very stable ride, and that is enhanced by that LEP plate that is sitting in this midsole foam. And basically what it's supposed to be, it's like the old torsion system that is in shoes like the SL20, that is supposed to help with torsional rigidity. And this kind of does the same thing. It aids in torsional rigidity so that you're not having, the pronation or too much flexing in your foot, which can cause injuries in your foot. It also acts as kind of like a plate in the shoe. So really on the midfoot, like you can see in the toe how it flexes, but really from about here to here in the midfoot, it also aids in keeping that foot kind of like straight, in a way. So when you land, it's trying to keep your foot straight moving forward, so you're not over pronating, you're not supinating, you're not, it just tries to aid in that stability. So it's not a stability shoe, but it just has stability elements to help you keep running longer, and that's it. This shoe is definitely an easy day, definitely a long run shoe. I can definitely tell you that right now. Its wide platform is just very stable for those longer runs. The Boost midsole foam is fantastic. Now, I will say you're not sitting on top of all of this foam right here. So this EVA, which you would think would like destroy the feeling of Boost, right? That EVA is more of a cradle system. So it actually cradles around your foot more than you are actually sitting on top of that EVA. And then you've got that plastic plate, and then you've got that Boost underneath your foot. When you get the shoe locked down, you don't feel that plate. It doesn't feel stiff. It doesn't feel like it's a hard thing underneath your foot. You actually feel super comfortable underneath your foot. I don't know how they designed this plate where they put it so far up closer to your foot and how you don't feel it, but they did a really good job with it. And yeah, so when I go for a run, it's definitely an easy day long run shoe. You can daily train in this if you're putting your 4 or 5 out of 10 effort. You can daily train in this shoe. Definitely those long runs, because that Boost midsole foam is incredibly resilient for those long runs. It has a lot of kind of compression but energy return. So, and it doesn't feel any different from mile 1 to mile 7, 8, 9, 10 as you're running down the road. So this has kind of become my go-to like long run shoe recently. The positives are it's just super comfortable. The upper is comfortable, the midsole is comfortable, the rubber is not intrusive to where it's ruining the ride of the shoe. It's got a ton of traction, it's a very stable ride. The downside of the shoe is its weight. It is a heavier shoe. Mine, I went true to size. Men's 10.5. The toe box is perfect. It's plenty of width, got plenty of volume to it. Lots of toe space here in the forefoot area. Over the midfoot didn't feel very tight. The arch area doesn't feel like it's like intrusive on your arch. It's just super comfortable. You get your foot bedded in, and it's comfortable. But the downside is the weight of the shoe. The weight of the shoe comes in at, I want to say in my size, it's close to 12 or a little over 12 ounces. So it's a heavy shoe. To me, it doesn't run heavy, but it's also, if you go out with the understanding that this is not a fast-paced shoe, it's not a shoe that you're going to be picking up the pace. It's a shoe that you're just supposed to plod along and just get miles in. And I think you can kind of understand that that's where this shoe really kind of excels at. It's not a faster paced shoe. I have tried to put some faster efforts in it just to, keep my legs woken up as I'm going on a longer run. So I try to put a faster paced effort into it, and it kind of does it okay, but I can't really sustain it for a long period of time. Maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. But it's not a shoe that because of the weight, it doesn't want to turn over really well. It's not super snappy, but it just absorbs impacts really well. It gives you just a nice cushion energy return to just keep you running at a consistent pace. So my average pace in the shoe right now, I want to say is 9:30, maybe 9:40 per mile pace, you know, and that's 20 to 25 miles into it, and that's what I'm averaging in the shoe. It's a shoe that, like I said, I go out there and I understand it's not a fast shoe. And in fact, sometimes I enjoy the fact that it is a heavier shoe because it forces me to slow down. There are shoes, like I've spoken about the Asics Magic Speed in my other video, that it seems like that shoe just wants to go fast. It kind of almost triggers you to go fast. This shoe basically tells you, no, bring it back, let's slow it down. Let's get back to that easy pace. Let's get back to that rhythm where you can just breathe and enjoy the run rather than fast pace. Oh, I got to pick up the pace. I got to go faster. So I really, really enjoy this shoe. And again, because I'm also a heavier runner, the one thing that I appreciate is the midsole foam. I've never really had a Boost shoe. The last Boost shoe that I had was the Supernova Plus, which the outsole rubber just ruined that shoe. But there really wasn't a whole lot of Boost. There was a decent amount in the heel, but you got that really, really thin layer in the toe area, and you really didn't feel like it was doing anything. It just felt like, okay, well, it's there, but is it doing anything? This one, I actually feel like it does something. I feel like I can feel that compression. I can feel that little bit of energy return, but I can just feel it keep giving me the same consistent ride from mile 1 to mile 10. And I think that's where the shoe just, again, it really excels. You know, it kind of forces you to just go out there, plod along, enjoy the run, all that kind of stuff. And even as a heavier runner, it just, like I said, it's resilient to my body's weight, my foot strike, my everything. That it just doesn't feel like it's like, oh my gosh, I'm dying out. Like I said, even for a heavier runner like me, sometimes a lot of my shoes at mile 10 they almost feel like, okay, we don't have enough compression anymore. Like your body has beat us up and there's just no compression anymore. I don't feel that in this. I don't feel that with Boost. So it's heavier, but it's kind of like the Saucony Triumph, the Triumph 17s. It's very, very similar to the Triumph 17s. The Power Run Plus midsole foam, very much in the same category, where it's a little bit heavier. It's not really like, oh my God, it's gonna light the world on fire type of thing, but it absorbs impacts well. It gives you a decent energy return. It's comfortable for those long miles, and it's resilient to just keep you moving mile and mile and mile at a time. And that's Boost, you know. And like I said, this is my first real interaction with Boost midsole foam. So I've actually really enjoyed this, and I'm sure the Ultra Boost, you know, some people say the Ultra Boost is even better, but it's the same Boost material. So, you know, yeah, I just think it's a really good shoe for heavier runners. So here's the kicker. This is where it gets fun. So if you've made it through the video, congratulations. Without clicking away, I appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up too. The cost of this shoe. So regular price is $130, which even at $130, I think is a pretty good deal. But they had this on sale for $74 a couple weeks ago. So you've already dropped it now, $55, right? So now it's well under $100. To me, anything under $100 is worth it. If you can catch a shoe on sale for under $100, it's worth purchasing it, especially a good quality running shoe. Something that was $130, $140, $150, and if you catch it for under $100, do it, buy it, whatever. But they also had a promo code going on where you could take an additional, I think it was like 30% off. So I got this shoe for $54. $54 for these shoes. That's a killer deal. I'm not passing up on something like that. I'm pinching those pennies, so if I can find a shoe like this that was a $130 shoe for $55, I'm buying it. And it was free shipping too. That was the other thing. It's free shipping. So, I mean, come on, guys, like $55 for this shoe. I mean, yeah, buy it. I mean, if you have the opportunity, just buy it. So to me, value wise, worth every penny. Worth every penny. Even the 20-something miles. If I retired it right now, I'd still feel like I got my dollar's worth out of it. But I know this shoe is going to last a very long time. It's resilient, it's durable, it's all those kind of things. I think this is going to be a fantastic shoe to run in for a very long time. I can't wait to put more miles in it. I look forward to running in this shoe. This is one of those rare shoes that I actually look at the rack of shoes that I have and I go, you know what? I want to run in those. And I almost want to pick them up every single day. And I'm like, no, I need to run in these. I need to run in these. I need to try these. Maybe this would be better for today. But a lot of times I just hop in these shoes and I'm like, man, these are great. And you can take these out and about and they're super comfortable to go for a walk in. If you're going to a theme park or something like that, super comfortable, just great shoe. So anyways, guys, check out the sales. Always pick up sales shoes whenever you can. To me, they're worth it. Even if you get a plethora of them, save them up because you never know when you're going to need another pair of shoes. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give this video a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And as always, guys, enjoy the run. I'll see you next time. Be safe out there.